Hey, good morning. Yes, it is. It is Wednesday, March 19th. So, what are we going to talk about today? I noticed that in the comments, you, Mark, had posted, something about hiring someone else to do your advertising for you. And you also mentioned the rental equipment business. So, I thought we'd kind of touch base on both of those and my thoughts and feelings. Hey, welcome back to the channel. My name is Eric, if you didn't already know it. And yes, this is the weekday, Monday through Friday. Today is Wednesday, the 19th of March, 2025. So what are we talking about today? We're going to talk about, when is the time to hire and when not to hire. And also touch base on what you had mentioned as well, Mark, is the rental business. So let's go back to the first part. The first part is, if you've watched very many of my videos, I tell you time is money, right? And the more money you have, the less time you have to spend doing it. And if you don't have a lot of money, you're going to spend more time learning how to do it. There's certain things that I'm not interested in learning, and one of them is payroll. It's not worth the hassle. And I hire someone to handle that for me. Year-end taxes. I can get all the numbers together, but I want someone, a certified public accountant, that deals with incorporated businesses on a daily basis to file my taxes correctly. I don't want to look over my shoulder about anything when it comes to those two things. So that's top of my list, that I know and I understand the costs, and they're worth the cost that I spend. Now, when it comes to advertising for your business, you got to be really careful. It's kind of like that snake oil salesman that here's a bottle of this and it'll turpentine and it'll cure everything from, chickenpox to ulcers if it don't kill you after you drink it. But a lot of people will tell you that they're great at something, and what they end up being is less than mediocre. But you have to have a way of gauging it. And I ran into this with this channel, actually. Because for the business side of it, I took care of most of that. But I was trying to figure out how to make this channel grow and have a good steady growth. I didn't want it to spike and then fall. And I try to provide good content that is helpful for someone that is looking for some guidance, but not for somebody to do it for them, right? So I feel pretty much that the content is good most of the time, part of the time. But it's the content is you and I sitting together and talking about business, and me telling you this is my thoughts and feelings on it, but you need to take what you can use and leave the rest, because all I'm doing at this point in time is offering people advice, right? And a lot of people that are just getting into it, and it doesn't matter how old you are, you could be getting out of your teens or you can be a senior citizen. There's a learning curve. And when I say there's a learning curve, I mean, if you're new to the business, there's so many things that are going through your mind, right? And what I try to do is I try to take and make you understand that with time comes experience, and with experience comes wisdom. And wisdom is what guides most of us that are here. And I know that with you, Amos, you have great points a lot of the time, most of the time. And that is, more people fail at trying to get into business than succeed. There's only a small portion of people that actually succeed. And if you're doing it for the money, good chances are you will not succeed. You have to have a deeper reason for wanting to do it other than just cash flow. You know, whether it's to achieve something, whether it's to prove something to yourself, whether it's to become a pillar in your community, what have you. Each one of us has our own, and it could cover all of those, right? But as we wade into this, now we need to have time on our side, right? And before I farm something out, I try it on my own. But as I was saying with this channel, I wanted to see it grow. And I wanted to see the views start to increase. I wanted to see subscriber counts increasing. Again, on a steady upwards every day. So I wasn't seeing that. You know, I saw where like one video would spike and then the rest of them were pretty low numbers. So I decided, well, I'd try to hire somebody that's good with search engine optimizing. That is taking what you have and putting it together in a better package for YouTube and Google to get your name out. And I was also paying someone to take 2 videos at a time and make them more accessible and put them on other, like Google Ads, what have you, to bring in more people. And what I found was that the videos that they would work on would spike and then drop. Subscribers would go up like 100 and then drop. And then it was for the next 2 videos that needed to be done. And I'm like, this is a never-ending thing. You know, it's how much am I willing to pay per subscriber? And the subscribers that are actually subscribing, are they real in the sense of wanting to be here at the channel? Or are the people that I'm hiring paying so many people to come and subscribe? Because that happens too. So you have to have some barometer to check to see if I'm going to hire someone to advertise my business. And YouTube, I look at it as a business. You know, I look at it as you and I in the coffee shop, but I'm also looking at it in a business sense because that's what I am. I'm Mr. Business, right? And that is, I want to see growth. I'm not interested in having it stagnant. And as I've told these different ones that I've hired, because a couple of them said, well, it's the content. I said, no, it's not the content. It may be the content if you're putting it in front of the wrong people. And when they come, they're not satisfied because they got shampooed and bamboozled into coming and watching one of my videos that they have no interest whatsoever. You know, I can advertise your lawn care business to people in Alaska that it's 40 below zero most of the time, and you're probably not going to see that many results. Because by the time spring hits, summer's a short season, they could give a rat's ass, let the grass grow. But that's what I mean. Anybody can promise you the moon, but there's only just a select few that can deliver. And trying to find that one that can deliver is hard. Real hard. Again, there's so many people out there claiming that they can do X, Y, and Z for you, and in reality, they don't know how to do X, Y, and Z. And how do I know they don't know how to do X, Y, and Z? Because I've got a bachelor's in IT. I know search engine optimizing. I know how to push content. But I thought it was just one more of those things that I would pay to have it done for me. You have to be results driven. If you're paying someone to advertise your business and you're not seeing more business, is it your business or is it the person that you hired pushing to the wrong people? Because you may have a lawnmower repair shop, but if your guy is pushing your content to people that have a lawn care service come in and take care of the yard, you're spending stupid money for nothing. Those people do not own lawnmowers, trimmers, or anything like that. They pay a landscaping company to come in and do their landscaping. That includes mowing the yard, trimming, you name it, redoing flower beds, plowing the driveways in the wintertime. Usually they hire them for the season. And that's why they're called a lawn care business. But you need to, if you're going to do the advertising, you need to bring into focus who is it that you want to get word out to. And that is the people that own their own lawnmower, whether it be a push or a rider, that do their own yard, have trimmers, handheld equipment, but don't want to mess around with doing the servicing on it. Or if it breaks, they know just enough to get themselves into trouble, but when it comes to actually repairing it, they don't know how. That's the group that you want to be advertising to. Those are the ones that are sitting here thinking, who is doing lawnmower repair in the area? It works on trimmers that can get this going. We've been at the same location since 2006, and I still have people in my local area not realize that we do small engine repair at the shop. And I'm talking within miles of my shop. Why is that? Because at some level, I didn't get them part of where I was going to advertise to. They weren't where I was advertising. So that's the other thing you have to look at. And don't be afraid to ask your customers, how did you find out? Where did you find out? And what got you motivated to come in and see me? And I do that with my older customers now. A lot of times I'll get people that say, I didn't even know there was a shop here. And somebody told me to stop in that you might have a part for my lawnmower. So then they walk in the door and they see parts up the yin-yang everywhere hanging on pegboard. And they're like, wow, you carry a lot of stock. I said, yep. He goes, how come I never heard of you before? I said, we try to keep it a secret. It's because I didn't get where they were. And that's the key is getting word out where people are that want your service, that need your service. And not where people that are hanging out that have lawn care companies do theirs. Because that's wasted money. You may have somebody, hire somebody, and they attract 100 of these people on that medium. But the problem is if all 100 of them have a lawn care service, how much do you get back? A goose egg. And that's what happened when we first did print and media. And what do I mean by media? I mean radio. I didn't do TV, but I did radio, and the guy kept promising the world. And we did, I want to say a month and a half, and it was almost $5,000. And we didn't see any return on our investment. That was money thrown out the window. We did print for a while. And all we got out of print was somebody calling asking if we were willing to buy their lawnmower. I give that up. They say, well, you got to keep doing it to get it in front of people so that they remember you. The only good time to advertise on radio, TV, and like that is if you're floor planning for all these different manufacturers and they're co-oping, which they're paying for the majority of the ad. Why not? Why not? But if you're paying out of pocket all your monies to try to increase business, and I'll be honest with you, for $5,000, it takes quite a few lawnmowers to come through here, because when you have a bill of, let's say, $300, you might have a belt in there, you got oil filter, you got plugs. I mean, you're not making $300. By the time you subtract out all the money you got in parts into that, now you're probably closer to $150. And then if you hire somebody by the hour, like I do, now it's going to be even less, because that pot is getting smaller, right? But what I'm saying is you end up with $50, let's say. You're talking 100 mowers to pay for that radio slot that we didn't get anything. Crickets. The places that I think you're going to get the biggest bang for your buck is by going to local groups in your area, buy-sell groups, community groups and this and that, and posting small blips that you're there. That you're there. And a lot of these groups will allow it as long as you're not spamming. I always ask, ahead of time. That way, if the person said, no, I think you should wait, Eric, I'll wait. I don't want to overpost in an area, even though I see it happen quite a few times in groups because it comes through my feed. And then, like I was explaining to you, that the other thing that I did was on my own personal account was put a blip of, we're a family-owned business, this is what we do, this is where we're at. And the key is to have the ability to share it to the public. And what really helped push us was a lot of people on my Facebook that are friends that took the ad and reshared it to their friends. Would that cost me? Nothing. Nothing. To do the same thing and try to get in front of a bunch of people using Facebook and their ad type thing, it would have got pretty expensive. The other thing is Google AdSense. You can do Google Ads and try to get more people to come to you. But that ended up being where I was spending, $300-400 a week, and I wasn't seeing a return on my investment. Same thing with Facebook ads. Wasn't a very good return on my investment. But I can't blame Google and Facebook. It was me not being able to have the ability to hone in on who exactly I wanted for a customer and then having them do that. If you're going to do Facebook ads, you're going to want to be no more than what your territory would be. And a lot of times our territory here is 25, 30 miles. I don't like to go that much farther out of our way. I do when we need to, but the main core is under 30 miles. So now you've kind of brought the distance in, right? The other thing is, who do I want to attract? A lot of the young people are going to take it to somebody else that's young to have their stuff worked on, or they'll do it themselves. So I'm looking for the ones that are working a lot and want to have their nights and weekends free without having to fix their crap. So I need to tag somebody that's older and that's employed and retired. There's a lot of retirees that don't want to service their equipment. They take good care of it, but don't want to service it. So we get them too. So you need to know who you're going after, all right? So the answer to the question is, should I hire someone to do my advertising? Be really, really careful. You could spend a lot of money and get no results. And you may go through with 3 or 4 different people that say they can do it for you, and all they're doing is just draining your checkbook. I know that from just this YouTube account. So the other thing is rental. If you have enough population close by you, renting things isn't a bad option. And a lot of times you can take stuff that people didn't want anymore, clean it up, get it running, and have them part of your rental units. I mean, I know some companies will go out and buy all brand new to start with and then have so much time on them and then replace them. But you're already in the business of fixing if they have a problem, right? Where most of the rental places farm that out. So if you have a repair shop as well as a rental, it may work very well. But you have to look at what is it you're renting. Like if somebody comes in, I can't see where somebody would come in and want to rent a weed trimmer to trim around their house every week. Come in on a Saturday and rent it. Most people would just step out and buy it. Same thing with a push mower. Chainsaw, maybe. But like your chop saws and all that kind of equipment, your demos, and they rent well. There's even a place close by that does rentals, and they even have mini excavators right up to large excavators to lifts, you name it. They're renting it, and they're growing, pretty good. So there is people out there that want to rent it. But I can tell you the company I'm thinking of, they rent to contractors a lot. Ones that are doing in the building or in the what have you trade that don't need it for a long time. They may need that and then not be using it for the next 3 or 4 months. And who wants a payment on an excavator if they're only using it here and there? I'm going to wrap this up. What do you guys think about it? Mark's ideas and Mark's suggestions. Do you think it's feasible to have a rental business on the side with your repair shop? Good question. Depends on location, right? And then hiring someone else to do stuff for you. You need to know enough so that you can gauge how well that person is doing the job. You can't just put blind faith in people and then expect great results. You need to get something back, and that something is permanent. And when it comes to advertising your business, you need it so that you're seeing growth, that it's not stagnant. If you're paying somebody and it's stagnant, or you see a big influx, then it drops off. The influx drops off. that tells me that wherever and however they're advertising it isn't doing you good business. I mean, yes, if you can get them through the front door, and that's kind of the hardest battle. Once they get to see your work and your prices and stuff like that, that should be enough to get them to come back. But when it comes to like YouTube with me, if they come in expecting to see something else and then they're let down because this is the content they were looking for, it's not that the content is bad, it's the people that are coming for the wrong reasons. So on that note, you guys have a great day, and we'll catch you here bright and early tomorrow morning. Again, thanks so much for watching.